When you're working through a deal to simultaneously buy and sell a property, and by simultaneously, I mean at the same time, you've got a deal that needs to come together where you're either purchasing or buying, and at the same time, you're either selling or buying on the other side. How does that work? What are the steps that are required? Good morning. My name is Mike Renick. I am the team lead, the senior broker with Team Renick Real Estate Services, part of that great Keller Williams on the Water family. My guest this morning is Michael Hankin. I am going to do something different. I'm actually going to introduce him while he's here so he has a chance to refute anything instead of keeping him in the lobby. Michael is an attorney with the law firm of Hankin & Hankin. He practices primarily in the areas of residential and commercial real estate transactions. He is an approved agent for Chicago Title Insurance Company, the Attorney Titles Insurance Fund, the Old Republic Title Insurance Company, has been designated as a board certified real estate attorney. That's the highest level of recognition by the Florida Bar. And in addition to all of that, and most importantly, he's just an all-around super good guy. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. How are you this morning, Mike?
I am full of energy. Had my coffee, raring to go. How about you?
Just about the same. Doing well by doing good.
I think I forgot to welcome our guest to Title Time with Mike and Mike. This is the December, I have to click on a link here. What's the date today? December 19th edition. The days are going by so fast right now. What we are going to talk about is buying and selling at the same time. And I can't think of a better person to help us through that than yourself. So go ahead, Mike, take it away.
Thank you. So this issue arises, as you said, when a family is both simultaneously selling their home and buying a new home. So that's they anticipate doing that on the same day. Now, I should start out, of course, by saying these are very complex transactions. There's a lot of moving parts. So this video would not substitute for the advice of an attorney, the advice of a good realtor. You really need to get good legal advice when you're entering into these transactions. The problem that arises is you have so many things happening on one day. You have the same family having to complete their sale, sign all their sale paperwork, complete their purchase, sign all their purchase work, get their money moved from their sale to them to fund their purchase. And then also, on top of all of the paperwork and legalities, they have to move that day because they don't have a place to move until they buy the house, and they got to go somewhere. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. So what are some solutions? What can we do to help mitigate these risks? First of all, don't do it. Don't do all of these things in one day. It's way too hard to throw in moving with two closings, and it's too much stress and pressure. I would not recommend doing all of those things in one day. That doesn't mean you can't buy and sell a house on the same day and use the money from the sale to fund the purchase. It just means taking moving out of the picture on that day. So how do you do that? Well, you can lease the house that you're moving into ahead of closing. Maybe you lease it for, if the seller's willing, 30 days prior to closing. Costs you a month's rent, which isn't any fun, but you then have a whole month to move leisurely. And when your closing date comes, all you have to worry about is the sale paperwork or the purchase paperwork. Alternatively, if you don't want to rent the new place, your new house, rent your house you're selling back from the person who's buying it from you. That way, on the day of closing, you don't have to move that day. And it just, either of those takes the moving out of the equation on the day of the double closing. Other important things you need to do. You need to have double contingencies. So in the contract where you're purchasing a new house, you don't want to be obligated to purchase that house unless you can sell your existing house. Most people need the money from their sale to fund the purchase. So if the sale doesn't go through and you don't have the money for that, then you probably don't want to be obligated to go forward with your purchase, which you wouldn't be able to perform on. So you need a contingency in your purchase contract that says if you don't sell your house, you're not obligated to purchase the new house. Also, on your sale contract, you need the same contingency. So for instance, if there's something wrong with the house you're buying, if there's a title problem that you can't close, you don't want to be obligated to sell your house without being able to purchase the new house. Then you wind up being homeless and not having any place to put any of your stuff. It's great that you sold your house, but you probably don't want to go through with the sale if you can't move to the purchased home. So those double contingencies are another way to really protect yourself. Also, ideally, your deposit on your purchase transaction, the money you're putting down, should be less than the money that your buyer is putting down on their purchase. So let's say you forgot to have the double contingencies, you get to closing, and all the deals don't work for whatever reason. One of those dominoes fall and hits all the other dominoes. You want to make sure that the money you receive from your buyer for their default will more than compensate you for the money that you lose to the person you're selling, the person you're buying a home from. Does that make sense?
It does. This is a complex set of situations. Absolutely.
There really is a lot that goes into it. On top of all of this, we want to do a lot of things early. So if you're just doing one portion of a transaction, if you're just buying a house, it's great to review the title as early as possible, and we always do that. But if it gets reviewed at the end and it gets delayed, usually it's some inconvenience to a buyer, but not typically an incredible inconvenience. Now, where there's more than one transaction, title problems or survey issues affect both of them, because one transaction that doesn't occur typically makes the other transaction not occur. So it's critically important on these flip transactions to start early and quickly reviewing the title on both transactions and reviewing the survey on both transactions. If there's a problem on either of those, we want to know right at the beginning. That leads to even more complexities. Typically, a buyer selects who the title agent is. So you can make sure that the property you're buying has good title and good survey, but typically it's the buyer's agent, the person who's buying, the buyer who's purchasing from you, who selects the title agent for your sale. So you don't have a lot of control over that person. So what I would suggest is, if you're going to do a flip transaction, control where both closings happen. So it may cost you a little extra, but if you pay for your sale title and you pay for your purchase title, you can select the same title agent. There's less money to move around at closing because your money goes from the sale to the purchase all at the same title company. It doesn't have to be wired. So you save some time there. Also, you get better updates. So you can find out what's going on, say, with your buyer's mortgage on the house you're selling, because it's your title agent who's interacting with them. You'll likely get more information about whether or not the lender's put in the title order, whether or not they're performing as expected. So you can get some more information there. So that point is, make sure you control where both closings occur so you can make sure the title and surveys are checked ahead of time, and also keep up to date more. You can see there's so much that goes into this. This really is, as I said at the beginning, not a substitute for a good agent and a good attorney making sure that you're protected from the beginning. Any questions? What?
So
let me
see if I can summarize this and make it a lot easier. So if someone is contemplating where they're going to do both at the same time or near the same time, to me, it'd be very easy to sit down with your real estate broker and your attorney and lay out a plan so that everybody knows what has to happen on which day. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That should be done when the contract's being signed, when you're getting ready to submit either your purchase offer or consider your sale offer. Absolutely. You should sit down with an attorney, go through all of the deals, go through the deadlines, and make sure everything is where it needs to be.
And then the real estate broker, in my mind, his or her role is to step back and now kind of be the captain and make sure everyone is performing according to that schedule. Does that make sense?
It does. And this is one of those, a little bit of an ethical situation where you see some agents not want to take their client to an attorney at the beginning. They want to be able to document the transaction and keep it moving. And that's difficult for some agents to make that transition, but really on these transactions, it's critically important because of the complexities. We really want to have all of those I's dotted and T's crossed so there's no surprises at the end. So you don't find out the day you're selling your house that there's a title defect. And if you don't change the defaults in the contract and your buyer's paying for title, you may not find out. The default contract lets you learn of survey defects on the day of closing. And so it's really critically important. I mean, there's thousands of dollars at risk, and your sanity. I mean, it's absolutely aggravating, and just it'll drive you nuts to deal with all the logistics in one day.
Any transaction that we're involved in, we always offer, whether we're working with a buyer at that time or a seller, to bring an attorney in. We want to demonstrate to the client that the approach is above board, it's ethical, it's legal. If they feel more comfortable having an attorney as part of the team, we're okay with that. We accept that, and we see the value in that. So I completely understand and get what you're sharing today. It is complex.
It really is. There's a lot of wrinkles and complexities. And, I really, again, would urge anybody in the situation to seek out good counsel. We are going to be taking next week off in the spirit of the holidays, but are looking forward to coming back on January 2nd, and really looking forward to putting together a bunch of new educational series and continue this process.
Michael, I want to thank you for all the time you've invested this year. Let me tip our hand just a little bit. As we begin in 2019, we'll be back on January 2nd. We're looking at some new formats, some new topics. We have some new high definition 4K equipment we'll be using. I'm really excited to be able to carry with you the message forward to help simplify real estate transactions. There's a lot to tell out there, and we'll expand our list of topics next year. And this is only doable for one reason, and that's because of you and investing your time. So I want to give you my personal thanks, Mike. It's been a tremendous 2018. I look forward to an even stronger 2019 with a partnership on these videos with you.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate all the logistics and the efforts and the work you put into this. We couldn't do this, obviously, without everything that you do. So thank you so much. And we'll keep making real estate better for everyone.
Sounds good, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.
Take care.